All right, so we're going to do the odd ones. So looking at number 1, we have to solve with the quadratic formula. Anybody remember our quadratic formula?
Negative b plus or minus squared of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. I forgot that.
Awesome. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared over 4ac over 2a.
2a.
Yes, times 4ac. There we go. So if you guys want, I can play the song for you again to help you remember. But remember, you have to memorize this for your quiz. When's your quiz? Thursday.
Our quiz is on the other thing, right? The b over 2 squared.
Yeah. So it's on completing the square and this.
Are we going to go over that too?
Yeah, we're going to review for it tomorrow. So number 1, a couple different things I can do here. I could either move 3x squared to the right or move 4x and 10 to the left. So what do you think I should do? All right, I can subtract both sides by 4x and subtract both sides by 10. If you moved the 3x squared, that's totally fine. Your answer is just going to look a little bit different because the signs are going to be different, but it'll be the same. So we have equal to 0. So that's my goal. So now I can just list A, B, and C. So what's A?
3.
What's B?
Negative 4.
And what's C?
Negative 10.
And now I plug it in. So I have negative 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 4 over 2 times 3. What should I do next?
The 4.
So I'm just going to simplify and just go from left to right. So negative 4 becomes a positive 4. What's negative 4 squared? So negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. And then I have negative 4 times 3,
12.
negative 12. And negative 12 times negative 4, positive 48. And then what's 2 times 3? 6. This is the homework. So I have 4 plus or minus. What is 16 plus 48? 136 over 6. That's my answer. So if you move the 3 to the other side, it'll probably be negative 4 and negative 6, but it's the same. 16 plus 48.
No, shouldn't it be, instead of the negative 4 on the end, shouldn't it be negative 10?
No, because it's... Oh, you are right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why,
I plugged it in wrong. So this should be 10 here.
yeah, that's why I was like, 16 plus 48 isn't 130.
I trusted you guys. Nobody stopped me.
I thought I was just wrong.
No, I was wrong. So it should be negative 10 in here. So then this would be 12 times negative 10, which is 120. So 136. So you're right. So number 3, what should I do first? Do what? Bring the 2 over. So subtract 2. Where do I put the 2? Does 2 have any like terms on the left side? Yeah. I can combine negative 19 and negative 2. So I have 2b squared minus b. What comes next? Minus 21. Then I have equal to 0. So then I can just list my a, b, and c. So I have a, b, and c. So a equals what? 2. B equals negative 1, and c equals negative 21. And then I plug it in. So negative b, or negative b, so it'd be negative 1, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2 times a. Now we simplify, just going from left to right. So what's negative negative 1? 1 plus or minus. What's negative 1 squared? 1. And then we can multiply. So what's negative 4 times 2? Negative 8. And negative 8 times negative 21? 168. Awesome. And then over 2 times 2? 4. So then I have 1 plus or minus the square root of 169 over 4. And we can leave it like this. All right, so number 5. What should I do first? Add 4. So r squared minus r. What comes next? Minus 8, because I can add those two together, is equal to 0. So what's A? What's B? And what's C? Awesome. And then we plug it in. So negative B, negative negative 1, plus or minus the square root of B squared, minus 4 times A times C, over 2A. Now we simplify. What does negative 1 turn into? Just 1 plus or minus. What's negative 1 squared? 1. 4 times 1 is negative 4 times negative 8. 32 over 2. So I have 1 plus or minus the square root of 33 over 2. All right, number 7. What should I do first? Bradley, what should I do?
Find A, B, and C.
Before I do that, I need it to be equal to 0. Is it equal to 0? No. So what should I do first?
So add 3.
I can add 3v. So I have 5v squared plus 3v. What else do I have to do? Subtract 7. So it's on the right side, so I subtracted 7 to move it to the left side. So I just wanted to move everything on the right side to the left. If you move the 5v squared to the right, that's fine too. You'll get the same answer.
When you move the number with the variable, does the number with the variable always have to be in zero?
Yes. So remember, it always has to keep this order, so it'll have your squared term, then just the variable, and then just the constant. So it'll always be squared, just the variable, then just the constant. All right, so what's A? 5, what's B? 3, and what's C? Negative 7. So plug it in. We have negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC over 2A. So negative 3 plus or minus, what is 3 squared? 9. What's 4 times 5? Negative 20. And negative 20 times negative 7? Positive 140 over 2 times 5? 10. So negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 149 over 10. All right, let's do one more just like it. What do I have to do first here? Let's see.
Would you have to bring the negative n and the 10 over?
Awesome. So I'm going to add n to both sides. And what else? Subtract 10. So on the left side, how would I write it?
You put 2n squared plus 10 minus 10
Equals 0. Perfect. Once it's equal to 0, then we can list our A, B, and C. So what's A?
A is 2.
What's b?
1.
And what's c?
Negative 10.
Negative 10. Perfect. Then we plug it in. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So then we simplify. So negative 1 stays out front. What's 1 squared? 1. Then we have negative 4 times 2.
Negative 8.
Negative 8. And negative 8 times negative 10. 80. And 2 times 2? 4. So then we have negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 81 over 4.
What is the square root of 81?
It is 9, so if you wanted to, you could simplify it more, or you could just leave it like this. So we have to make sure it's in order. So how would we rewrite this?
2r squared plus 4r
Bless you.
minus 7.
Awesome. Is equal to 0. Once it's equal to 0, we can list our A, B, and C. So what's A?
2.
What's B?
And then negative 7. And then we put it in, and then. Wait.
Negative 4 plus or minus the square root.
4 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 7 over 2 times 2.
All right, now we simplify from left to right. So negative 4 plus or minus. What's 4 squared?
16.
What's negative 4 times 2?
Negative 8.
And negative 8 times negative 7.
66. So it's
And 2 times 2?
2 times 2, 4.
All right, and last thing. What's 16 plus 56?
62. Right?
Yep. So that's our answer. 72.
There's an extra one. Yeah.
Any questions there? All right, let's go to number 4. What do I have to do first for number 4?
Put in order.
Put in order. How?
Subtract 3.
Subtract 3. So what comes first?
2a squared
Uh-huh.
plus 4a. And then minus negative 6.
Awesome. Is equal to 0. So once it's equal to 0, we can just list our A, B, and C. So what's A? What's B? And what's C? So we have negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC over 2A. So all I did was plug it in. So negative 4 plus or minus, what's 4 squared? 16. What's negative 4 times 2?
Negative 8.
And what's negative 8 times negative 6?
48.
And 2 times 2? And then last thing we have to do is add. So what's 16 plus 48?
64.
Are you sure? So even though we know that the square root of 64 is 8, you can just leave it like this. So you don't have to simplify it, just leave it like this. Any questions here? All right, let's look at number 6. What should I do first? Subtract 10. So what would I write? How would I do the order? Awesome. 3b squared minus 2b minus 10 is equal to 0. So once it's equal to 0, I can list my A, B, and C. So A, B, C. So A is equal to what? 3. What's B equal to? And C? So then we plug it in. Negative b, so negative 2, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 10 over 2a. So 2 times 3. So negative 2 turns into positive 2 plus or minus square root of 4. What's negative 4 times 3?
Negative 12.
Negative 12, and negative 12 times
120.
negative 10? 120. Over 2 times 3? 6. So I have 2 plus or minus what?
124.
124 over 6. So a couple different ways we can do number 8. You can either move everything to the right or move everything to the left. You'll get almost the same answer, just the signs will be different, but they're both correct. So what do you want to do?
Move everything this way.
What am I moving?
The negative. The 2. The 2. You can't just move the 2.
What's 2?
At the end 2.
Okay, so I'm subtracting n squared. I can do that. So I have 0 is equal to, what would come first?
Negative n squared.
Negative n squared
Plus 3n plus 1.
plus 3n plus 1. So equal to 0, so I can just list my a, b, and c. So I have a, b, c. So what's a? What's b? 3. And what's c? 1. So if you moved 3n and 1 to the other side, your signs will be different, but that's fine. You'll end up with the same answer. Almost the same answer, but it'll still be right. All right, so we have negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times negative 1 times 1 over 2 times negative 1. So negative 3 plus or minus, what's 3 squared? 9. What is negative 4 times negative 1? 4, and 4 times 1? 4. So it's a positive 4. Over, what's 2 times negative 1? Negative 2. So negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 13 over negative 2. So that's our answer. If you did it the other way and moved everything to the left, you should have had positive 3 and positive 2. But the numbers should have been the same. Yes. So it's equal to 0, so I can just list my a, b, and c. What's a? What's b? And what's c? Perfect. So plug it in. I have negative b, so negative 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared, minus 4 times a times c, over 2a. So it's negative 4. Positive 4 plus or minus. What is negative 4 squared? 16. What is negative 4 times 2? And negative 8 times negative 16? I think it's 128. 128. Remember, if you don't know that on the top of your head, write it down. 16 times 8. Multiply. All right, and then 2 times 2? 4. So we have 4 plus or minus the square root of, what's 16 plus 128? 144 over 4. So again, just like before, we know the square root of 144 is 12, but you can just leave it like this. So you don't have to simplify the square root. Simplify everything under it, but you don't have to get rid of it. So just as a reminder, our formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now here, it's equal to 0, so what's a? 2. What's b? So remember, it goes n squared plus n plus the constant is equal to 0. Do I have just that n variable here? No. So what do you think b is? 0, because it's a, b, c. So I don't have that n term, so b is 0. And then what's c? -7. So that -7 is the c because it doesn't have a variable with it. So because it's just the number, that's the c. So c is your constant, no variable. B will always have just like the n or just the x, whatever the variable is. All right, so let's plug it in. So we have -0 plus or minus the square root of 0 squared minus 4 times 2 times -7 over 2 times 2. So -0, do I need that -0 there? Nope, so I can just get rid of it. Because it's 0, we don't need it. So I just have plus or minus the square root of, what's 0 squared? Just 0, we don't need it. What's -4 times 2? -8, and what's -8 times -7? 56. And then 2 times 2? 4. So this would be plus or minus the square root of 56 over 4. So you don't have to write the 0 out front. All right, so the next section, we have to find the discriminant and state the number of solutions. So what's the formula for discriminant? B squared minus 4ac. So it's like the under the square root part of the formula from before. So what's a here? -4. What's b? 0. Perfect. Just like the last one, we don't have just an r, so b is 0. And then what's c? 1. So let's plug it in. We have 0 squared minus 4 times -4 times 1. So 0 squared is just 0. What's -4 times -4? 16, and 16 times 1 times 1. 16. So it would be positive 16. 0 plus 16? 16. So 16, is it positive or negative? Positive. So how many solutions do we have? 2 real solutions. Any questions here? All right, let's do 15. What should I do first? How do I get it equal to 0? Subtract 2. What's that 2 going to combine with? The 3. So I have r squared plus 2r, and what's 3 minus 2? 1. So what's a? 1. What's b? And what's c? So let's plug it in. So I have b squared minus 4ac. So 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times 1. What's 2 squared? 4. And 4 minus, this would be -4 times 1, which would be -4. So 4 minus 4? 0. So 0 is my discriminant, and how many solutions do I have? 1 real solution. All right, 17. It's equal to 0, so we can just go ahead and start. So what's a? -1. What's b? -4. And what's c? -4. So b squared would be -4 squared minus 4 times -1 times c, which is -4. So what is -4 squared? 16. What's -4 times -1? 4. And 4 times -4? -16. What's 16 minus 16? 0. So how many solutions do I have? 1 real solution. Any questions here? All right, last one, 19. It's equal to 0. So what's A? -3. What's B? So we have an n here. So that means B is -1, because it'd be -1n. And what's C? 0. So plug it in. -1 squared minus 4 times A times C. What is -1 squared? 1. What's -4 times -3? 12. And 12 times 0? 0. So what's 1 plus 0? So 1 is my discriminant. How many real solutions do I have? 2 real solutions. So because 1 is positive, I have 2 real solutions. So the formulas you need to remember from this section are your quadratic formula, so -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And then your discriminant formula is b squared minus 4ac. So number 12 is equal to 0, so I can just list my A, B, and C. So what's A? What's B? And what's C? Perfect. So plug it in. -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So -5 plus or minus. What is 5 squared? 25. What's -4 times 2? -8. And -8 times -7? 56. Over 2 times 2? 4. And then last thing we need to do is 25 plus 56. So it's 25 plus 56. 81 over 4. What's the formula that we use to find the discriminant? B squared minus 4ac. It's what's under the square root when we have our quadratic formula. And just like before, we need everything to be in order and equal to 0. So here it's equal to 0, so I can list my A, B, and C. So I have A, B, and C. What's A? -4. What's B? 0. And what's C? -2. So remember, it would be an squared plus b n plus c. So whatever is in front of just the n is our b, but we don't have just an n here, so that's why b is 0. So we plug it in. So b squared minus 4 times a times c. What's 0 squared? 0. What's -4 times -4? Positive 16. And then positive 16 times -2? -16 times -2. -32. So 0 minus 32 is just -32. So that's the discriminant. How many solutions do we have here? No real solutions. Because it's negative, we have no real solutions. So I only have -3 on the right side of the equal sign. What's the opposite of -3? +3. So I would add 3 to the left side also. What is the 3 going to be combined with? So what's a like term with 3? What am I combining that with? 5. So I'm going to add these two together. So I have -2n squared minus n, and what's -5 plus 3? -2 is equal to 0. Once I have it equal to 0, then I can list A, B, and C. So A, B, C. A is equal to what? -2. B is equal to? -1. And C is -2. So now I plug it in. What's the formula that I'm plugging it into? Awesome. B squared minus 4AC. So 1 minus, what's -4 times 2? -2. +8. And +8 times -2? -16. What's 1 minus 16? -15. So -15 is my discriminant. How many solutions do I have? No real solutions. All right, 18. Do I need to do anything first? Nope, it's equal to 0, so I can list my A, B, and C. What's A? What's B? 4, and what's C? 4. So B squared minus 4AC. 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 4. So 4 squared is 16. -4 times 1, -4, and -4 times 4, -16. What's 16 minus 16? 0. So 0 is my discriminant, and how many solutions do I have? 1 real solution. Ready for the next one? Last one. Do I need to do anything first here?
No.
Nope, it's equal to 0. What's A? -3. What's B? And what's C? All right, Amanda, what do I do next?
You put it into -3 squared minus 4 -3 -4.
So what's -3 squared? What's -4 times -3? 12. And 12 times -4?
48.
Positive or negative?
-48, so 9 minus 48. -39. No solution.
Awesome. No real solution.
Where did you get 9?
3 squared?